Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Rich Han. I'm the chair of the Council of Fellowship Committee. Welcome to spring, first of all, huh? What a nice day today was, right? You could feel you faced spring in the air, so it was a nice feeling today. So first, I have to do roll call. So I'd like the rec committee to introduce themselves first. Then we're gonna have Karen open up her meeting.
Thanks, Rich. Melissa Pucci. Lauren Hayes.
Kate Kamler.
Giuseppe Federa.
There it is.
Bob Wyden.
And I'll call the Council on Aging meeting to order. We'll start with
Karen Panett.
Karen Panett,
Ron Powell.
Jean Prado. Marilyn Shapley.
John Parsons.
Rosemary DiBenedetto,
Kate Harrington.
and Karen Janowski,
John Sisson.
and John.
John's on my side.
So it should be over there, right?
And then I think this next one.
Yep, I'll call the select board to order. Karen Rose Gillis,
Here.
Melissa Murphy.
Here.
Carlo Bacci. Here. Eric on Zoom.
Here.
And Chris Haley. Thank you.
Before we begin, first of all, I want to thank Karen for her partnership. This is our second meeting together. And I think after the first meeting we had together, we decided that, it'd be great to have both groups working together on this, beautiful new building that's going to be for the community of Reading for all ages. And I think it's going to be a great journey working together with Karen and her committee and our committee together to really make this, a beautiful building for all ages. And I really want to thank you, Karen, for your partnership, and it's been nice that got to know you on a different level, which is great. So we're looking forward to continue working together.
Is live captions turned on and it's just not picking up our voices? Because I don't see any.
Yeah,
Captioning.
I have it on my end.
But it's not
so yeah, it's not projecting.
Is it possible to get it on?
No, I have it on my here.
If we use the microphone, would that work? Oh,
From someone who knows.
I think we're just gonna have to proceed as.
no.
For, this panel. The panel up there, so. I've never done it before.
I can see it on my end.
Yeah, the people at home can see it.
Yeah, technology, right?
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
So we have the transcript panel. Do you want the transcript panel or we take this piece off and just have the closed captions?
Yeah,
Which are-
I think we need to speak loud enough that it will pick up. Oh, this is good, it's picking it up.
Yeah.
Wait, it's too soon.
All right, look at me. I'm a genius. We're done.
Well done.
We're done.
We don't know how to do.
All right.
This is really important, accessibility, this is what I do, business wise too, this is so important that. We really want to make everything as accessible as possible, and proactively, this is part of universal design. Thank you for figuring it out, we want to make sure that we do this at all of our meetings.
Well, we just figured it out, so we're good. From now on, done.
Good for the future.
Good for the, we're done. Collaborative problem solving, I love it. All right.
So I think we have one agenda item, and Jen, I'll turn it over to you first.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So the floor is yours.
All right, awesome. Do you want to hand me the mic or? Okay. Thanks.
We do have a microphone.
Okay. For anyone watching on Zoom in the future or on RCTV, I'm Jenna Wood. I'm the Community Services Director. Thank you all for coming tonight, both committees and members of the Select Board and other committee members. We've been working really hard in the internal working group and also within our committees to come up with a budget for FY28 for when the Recal building opens. So I just want to introduce the panel really quickly, who's over here, who's been involved. We call ourselves an internal working group. To the left, we have John Sasso. He was a big part of Recal. He was on Recal for several years and a very intricate part of the process, visiting several senior centers and community centers and gathering data. So thank you, John, for being a part of everything. We have Jim Sullivan, our recreation administrator. He has been with us for 4 years now, three, and has been in the rec industry for over 20 years. And we have Carrie Valley, our interim Elder and Human Services Administrator. She has been with the town for 14 years. And before that had several years of experience in advocacy for the 60+ population. We have Joe Huggins, our facilities director. Although he doesn't come to every operations meeting, he was an intricate part of this part because of the budget. So obviously facilities has some needs with these new buildings coming online. So he was a big part of this conversation. So thank you, Joe, for being here tonight. Oh, and Joe, you've been here for like 100 years too. Sorry. 20. Okay. And we have Jane Wellman. She's been here for 10. And she's our assistant town manager. And we really appreciate her support, having that high level support and someone who meets with us on a weekly basis and learns about all of our divisions and department is extremely helpful. And she's a wealth of knowledge with financing and budgets and all of that good stuff. And last but not least, on Zoom, we have Emily Sisson, and she has been involved with the town quite a bit for her volunteerism. She was on the rec committee for several years, and now she's on FinCom. So she brings a lot of great experience and background. And Emily, how many years have you been a volunteer? No,
Since my oldest was born, so 13. Oh,
So-
a while.
so thank you. And I know so many members on the boards have been here for a long, long time too. I think Kate and Rich might be winning.
Definitely.
Kate, how many years, Kate?
So like Emily, I joined when I was pregnant with my firstborn, and he'll be 38 next month.
Yeah. So 38 years, so we have a lot of dedicated volunteers and we couldn't do it without you. So we really appreciate the support. So the staff is just going to start off by going into our mission statement and our vision statement and our guiding principles. So the 3 staff members will go over that, and then we'll hand it over to Jane to dive into some of the budget related things. So the Reading Center for Active Living will be a community asset designed to support the mission statements of the Elder and Human Services Divisions, Recreation, and Veterans. Recal seeks to foster health and wellness by promoting social interaction interaction, strengthening the community, and providing a point of access to programs and services for all ages.
Hi, Carrie Valley here. I'm going to read the ReCal mission statement. The town of Reading created multiple guiding principles for the Center for Active Living in order to provide an inclusive, welcoming, and supportive space that meets the interests and needs of the growing 60 population. The Reading Center for Active Living embraces a dynamic approach promoting growth and healthy aging by enhancing the social, cognitive, and physical lives of our senior population. ReCal will also provide additional indoor recreational space for all age groups.
Thank you. Jim Sullivan, Recreation Administrator. I'm going to talk about ReCal's guiding principles. ReCal will be age-friendly and welcoming to everyone. This design will include a senior hub with designated spaces to support the full range of programs and services to meet the growing needs of Reading's age 60-plus residents, offering full-day, weekend, and evening hours. ReCal will include designated space for recreation and veterans offices and shared spaces to provide recreational and/or community building opportunities for all ages. The center will ensure safety and accessibility both inside and outside the facility through thoughtful design and operation. The center will also promote social equality and maximize access to programs and services to all members of the community. The facility will be environmentally conscious, strive to be carbon neutral, and will leave a legacy of responsible design and operation.
Good evening. Can everybody see me? I want to be seen. Just kidding. So I'm going to think it's a little bit easier. We stuffed all these guys in the corner. They're stuck in there, but I can get out. If you take nothing away, we take anything rather away from this meeting tonight, we want you to take away this slide. This is the most important. These are your bottom line information. Okay, so these are your key takeaways. And also, I just like to take a moment to thank the working group and everybody that we've been working with for giving up their time and their expertise to work with us and make this a collaborative process. We're grateful to everybody here also being part of this process. And it's really good. This is a collaborative effort. This is work product from multiple people. And so if I pause and need to answer a question from these folks, don't think less of me for not having all the answers. We're gonna we'd like to take questions when we're done from the committees. And then if it's up to the boards, they want to open it to public comment at that point. Okay, so the primary cost drivers to additional expense over and above what we're experiencing by running this facility are our facility operations. So it's utilities, it's cleaning, and it's maintenance, and it's primarily personnel. So we'll have to hire 2 additional full-time custodians, and we need to hire an additional maintenance tech. The maintenance tech isn't just because we're opening ReCal. It's because the facilities department runs really quite lean. And so they have 4 maintenance staff right now. And those maintenance professionals are responsible for all of the work orders in 1.2 million square feet of building. 1.1, I was close. 1.1 million square feet. So that's a lot of work orders. That's all the different things that all the different buildings need. So having ReCal open is going to put them really over a threshold where in order to properly maintain the building in the way that we're recommending, we believe we'll also need a maintenance tech. Okay. We have done the analysis. We know that it will cost more in utilities. It's an all electric building and it's a much bigger building. Anything you want to add to this part, Joe, right now? Okay. New front desk and program supervisory staff additions for ReCal will be covered either by volunteers or the revolving fund use. So room rentals will help pay for these part-time positions, Elder and Human Services, Recreation, revolving and funds. Okay. So that's part-time staff or property tax workers who can participate in helping with front desk and check-in and so forth. And then we've identified an additional offsetting revenue that we will get from the ReCal building. And we can take you through some of how we've broken that down a little bit, but that is in the range of a little over $200,000 is what we're projecting right now. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our projected budget. We're going to go through this in a minute, so don't necessarily focus on the small. This is a cost comparison between the current operational departments and facilities department with the Pleasant Street Center on the left at baseline, and then what we're projecting for recal, and then the increase and decrease. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the current. I'm just taking you through this really quickly so you know where to look as we go. So currently, we are budgeting at a total expense of about $827,000 between Elder and Human Services, Veterans and Recreation, and all the staffing, and as well as about $51,000 in facilities expense. Next slide. So here, the project, I love the red line so you can see it a little easier. And this will be available on the website tomorrow. So if you're, worried about taking notes, this will be provided. So what we're projecting here are increases in Elder and Human Services salaries, just $8,500. We're going to do an ask in FY28, assuming no other major changes, of $15,000 for expenses. Right now, as most people know, it's $51,700 for expenses. That includes programming, that includes supplies, all expenses, which is, as we all know, is a modest budget. So recreation will go up by about $32,000. That is to have a part-time therapeutic recreational person, and that will be supported by the revolving fund. And I know that's a big deal in all over the community. I personally love therapeutic recreation. I used to serve on the board of an adaptive program for kids. And we think this will benefit all communities, all ages. So really important. Our veterans line, these salary increases are just your regular, what is it, a 3.5%, Jenna, for the salary increase. It's just the routine increases per annum. And then we're expecting a small increase in veterans expenses as well. Keep in mind that all of the approved veterans expenses, when you look at the budget book, that are in accommodated costs, we carry them here, but they're in accommodated costs. Those are reimbursed up to 75% from the state. So we fund it, but we do see some of those funds come back. Okay. So the proposal here is additional part-time staff. Again, that's front desk staff, helping around the building, that kind of thing. That'll be funded through the revolving funds. Fees that people are paying to offset, particularly in recreation, will be offsetting those additional part-time staff. We already pay for part-time staff for summer camp programs. What other part-time staff do we pay for, Jim?
Birthday parties that we do right now, soccer programs, pickleball as well, Sunday basketball program, and all these costs are built into it so that every program that recreation runs, we are not running at a loss. We're typically bringing in about 20% on top of that to help pay for other fees, whether it's our website, our credit card fees, our office staff. So every program we run is making, I don't want to say making money, but it is covering costs of all programming.
So that's an important piece on how we fund recreation programs. It is self-funding. It does not come at a cost to the town. And that is where recal will be generating revenue to help offset programming costs. Okay. So facilities is, this is where we're going to see a big increase to the tune of about $358,000. That's the bulk of the increase. And I'll speak to it briefly, but Joe is here. And when folks have questions, he'll be happy to dig into it some more. Preventative maintenance services, that's our regular cleaning program. Is that right? You want to?
Maintenance services is,
For the
sorry,
maintenance stuff.
yeah, that's elevator service, fire alarm,
Oh, those are our contracts.
correct. Yep, and then the cleaning is something that's.
Right. We talked about this. This is why I need my staff. So yeah, the preventative maintenance services are the regular contracts. We have on-call services that we have 3-year contracts for, and we update those are competitively bid. The staffing and cleaning services are for our custodial support, the 2 additional custodians we talked about, and the maintenance tech person we talked about. If we're going to have the building open, the amount of hours that it will be open or we intend it to be open, we're going to need those 2 full-time custodians because we have a lot of rooms to turn over, right? There will be areas that need to be managed during the day, and then there's an important security aspect to having a custodian here in the building every night. At town hall, when we have a night meeting, the custodian's the last person to leave. The same thing is true. They come through and they close these buildings, they lock them up, and they also know how to manage our security systems. So it's really important. And then the utilities, we're projecting about a $26,000 increase in utilities. The library is an all-electric building, like Recal will be. So we use that as a model for our budgeting. Okay. And then at the bottom, which is a little bit hard to see because we have the closed caption over it. But funding support here is $66,000. And we're estimating that from revolving fund support, perhaps trust fund support. What was the trust fund support portion you were thinking?
Did a $15,000.
Of 15,000, okay. And that's up to Council on Aging approval. So that's only at Council on Aging approval. Rentals from Recal, we're estimating about $29,000, $28,750. Memberships for the fitness equipment room, 37,000. Thank you. And additional Recal programs is about $79,000, $80,000. So we're sorry you can't see that here, but that works up to about $211,000 in new revenues, total projected revenues, or an increase of, can you see the increase? I can't read it.
On the projected, it's 211,600.
Oh, because we didn't put the current down here. We have some programs that we run. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, so this is just the total budget expense. You can see the bottom line is a full total expense of about 471,000. Fully staffed, without offsets. So when you take off the offsets, did you do that math? 260,000. If you applied it that way, that's not how we carry things in our budget, as we know, but something to think about. Okay. Next slide, please. So we used some assumptions to develop this budget, and I want to walk you through some of those so it helps form for a level setting and we're forming context. Elder and Human Services, we're not anticipating any material change in the salaries. We are carrying right now for FY27 and FY28, we're projecting the same staffing levels into the future. So we're funding at the same staffing levels, even though we're down 1 person right now. And Carrie is holding the role of interim director and caseworker. And then we're projecting increase 15,000 for programs, meals, and supplies. With recreation, it's that addition of the part-time therapeutic rec coordinator. Recal staff will need some volunteer staff and part-time paid staff for front desk and evening support. And we do have a person right now who's part-time as a program, like a site coordinator, Jim?
Program supervisor.
I beg your pardon, program supervisor, who goes around to all the different sites in the schools and everything and makes sure that people are getting where they need to be and the doors are open and the doors are closed and, coordinates that in the evenings. So we already have that in our budget and that happens right now anyway. And then with veterans, we're not projecting any material changes. Next slide. So for the facilities, these are the assumptions here. We're increasing the preventative maintenance expenses, about $52,000. That includes our property and casualty insurance as well. For this new building, it will be new and it's much bigger, so the insurance rates are much higher. We did go out and get a quote for that recently. And that's the increase in the contracts. So there's more square footage to handle. So what do we think that's going to be? Sprinkler service. And what are some of the other contracts? Elevator, fire alarm, water treatment, cleaning the, HVAC, making sure all the electrical systems are working. Increase in staff and services, $280,000. As I said, it's a full-time maintenance staff person, 2 additional custodial staff, and then more extensive third-party cleaning. So we use a third-party cleaning service to come in at night already in our buildings. By using that third-party cleaning service, they only clean the public portions of the building. So not offices, nothing behind locked doors, part of our security. They're only cleaning the open spaces and also the really frequently used spaces, and the bathrooms and so forth. But by using that service, we avoid a lot of money in overtime. Okay. And then we're projecting about $25,000 in utility cost increases. Next slide. So funding support, we talked a little bit about this already, $66,000 between the Recreation, Elder and Human Services Revolving Fund and the trust funds, again, that would require Council on Aging approval, and we're thinking about $15,000. But again, that's at the council's approval. Recal rentals are representing about $29,000. So that's renting out the gym, renting out the multipurpose room or rooms, because that multipurpose room can be divided and rented to 2 parties, and some of the small meeting rooms. Fitness room memberships will be available to resident seniors, non-seniors, and non-residents. And that is at $37,500. And then additional recreation programs, which will be Friday night family night, pickleball, after school enrichment programming, and therapeutic recreation programs. And we're estimating that at about $79,000. Next slide. So this is the timeline of what we've been bringing forward to these groups since we've started working on this. So we presented the draft policies in October, the programming policy in December. In January, we revisited and discussed some of the open items from the draft policies. In March, we're here talking about the operational costs. In May, we're going to bring forward an update on our new programming software. And then in July, we'll present some current transportation models and some potential future needs. So that's kind of what's on the horizon right now. And if there's other things we need to add to that, this is an ongoing iterative process, and so we're open to that. Okay. Madam. Floor is yours. We're here for questions. Thank you.
I just want to go back to your numbers for a second.
Yep.
And you forget to remind me, I don't know if it's going to be correct about the net increase is about 260,000.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about, is the net increase.
Yeah, it's true, but it's true, but it's important for us to capture, to the best of our ability, what we think all of our costs are.
Right.
And so one of the things that's not presented here on this chart is the state grant, which I think in FY 26 or 27 is $116,000 projecting. So that's a grant that we get every year from the state that is based on how many elders live in our community. Okay, so it's a formula grant. We get it every year. It goes up or down. It's been going up for obvious reasons for a few years. Right now, so we get that every year. That's not reflected here. Right now, we use that to offset our salaries in Elder and Human Services. That's what happens right now.
Right.
That may not be what happens in the future. I have some discussions about that we could move that. I'd like to get to a place, and we're not there today. We're not there today. But I would love to get to a place in this community where the state grant is funding the expenses side of the house and the general fund is fully funding the staff side. And I think there's general support for that, but we have to make that math work and we have to make that appeal to town meeting and make it make sense for taxpayers. But that's how we're funded right now. That's kind of legacy, how it's been done for a long time. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we're looking for something more robust in the future. Okay.
And then another way, in terms of volunteers, it looks like you need a lot of volunteers. How many additional volunteers do you think you need in the building?
That's a great question. And what I'm hearing from you is you're going to volunteer. Do you have a projection on how many volunteers you'd like to have?
Well, right now we have over 50 at the
Oh,
Pleasant
wow.
Street Center, correct, Janet?
Yes.
So,
Some of those are, some of those are repetitive and some are, now and then, right?
We have about 35 consistent. And then the others are through a cooperate arrangement with North Shore Bank and Eastern Bank, who provides us two employees for every event we do. So
Okay.
some of those employees are continuous that we see at every event, and some might be others through their community service programs.
Okay, that's great. And Janet is our volunteer coordinator, and she is pretty much single-handedly, you built back all of our volunteerism, and so she deserves a round of applause every time you see her. Yes, really is pretty much single-handedly. So she's really done a great job with the support of the select board, because you want to go down deep in the budget. I'm your girl. I love this stuff. Janet's position was she's a part-time position. She was fully supported by ARPA funds. And so last year in FY '25, ARPA funds for staff support ran out. And so we went to the select board and we asked for support for the 3 employees that we had. 2 employees were partially funded by ARPA, and that was Anna and Ed in recreation. And Janet her part-time position was fully funded by ARPA. And so the select board and the finance committee and town meeting supported our staff request to fully fund those positions. And so we feel that that is a good sign of support for our Elder and Human Services Department as well as recreation. Okay, does that answer your questions?
It did, thank you.
So we have about 35 or 50 total. We'll probably need some more, but we're doing great with volunteerism.
To go along with that, we also have, how many positions are through the senior
The tax program,
tax relief program? How many?
10.
10. That's also Janet also brought that back.
And that has been a tremendous support here. I spoke with one of the volunteers last week and she is loving the position. I think. Yeah. Hours.
Every property tax worker works 100 hours at $15 per hour for a $1,500 credit on their property tax.
So we're hoping that, I know that this has been a discussion of the select board to maybe increase that
Yep.
number.
I think that would be great. And I would love to see the Council on Aging and the recreation committees have those conversations and make a request to the select board. Also, as we go forward to FY '28, because we'll probably look at that program again in the fall to increase that number so assessing can start putting in place those structures. So maybe increasing the threshold or increasing the number, so the income threshold, or increasing the numbers of people that we can open it up to. So it used to be a more robust program and it went away during COVID, and so we brought it back. And so that's something that, we have to talk to the select board about.
Please.
A few. One's easy. I think I just need to clarify. I think you said we were predicting the same staff level for EHS, and you mentioned that Carrie is doing double duty right now, bless you. But that's not the plan. We're assuming Carrie will split into 2 full-time.
I mean, I don't know that you can actually split into 2 people, but I'm doing 14 jobs right now.
Right.
So, I mean, it's doable, but
We're envisioning 2 positions.
we're fully funding it right now. So
For 2 positions.
for 2 positions.
Okay,
Right. So
great.
we are carrying forward the full funding so that we can do that. But we're gonna, we haven't decided, it's me, haven't decided everything about how I want it to look yet. And Carrie may be like, run out of here screaming. So we got to give, so we're not sure how we're going to handle the process just now, but we are funding it. We are
Okay.
committed to it. We're keeping that funding.
That's what I thought was true. I just, what happens when you assume big trouble.
Yeah, no, tell me about it.
I think, and I may have misunderstood you said you weren't projecting material changes for programs in EHS right now for FY '28?
Material changes in programs. Did we say that on the slide? Can you move ahead?
Where I'm headed is all the predictions are we should expect double at least participation. Are we planning for the costs of double our current?
With paid programming, we can handle the increase in programming participation. So with paid programming, we're asking to increase the funding $15,000 to cover programs, meals, and supplies. It's a bigger space. So we're not sure all the things we're going to cover on a daily basis. And so that's what the current ask is right now. So it's a $15,000 request over and above what we currently do for expenses.
Okay, and that leads into another question. Great segue. Is fee income in there somewhere?
It isn't, fee income, did we put fee income in there? We didn't, did we?
Well, it's, you mean for the Elder and Human Services
yeah.
revolving?
Yeah,
So the programming for Elder and Human Services is probably we only estimated it in at $1,000 for the turn back for Elder and Human Services, because the programming fees aren't gonna be, we want to keep them low. We don't want them, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
Right, so like recreation turn, I'm sorry, Jenna, please
Oh, no,
continue.
go ahead. No, you got it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
apologize. I
Yeah.
just interrupted
All
you.
right,
It's
okay.
terrible. So recreation has all these built-in costs
Right.
on top, but they're covering real costs that we experience, right? Recreation right now rents a lot of space from the school department to the tune of about $50,000. I beg your pardon, $40,000. So by moving over to Recal, we can take those $40,000 with us. And now, right now, recreation revolving fund has to cash out annually to the general fund and then, well, cash out to free cash. And they're returning back about $100,000 every year. Last year, 2 years ago, it was almost $200,000, $198,000 went into free cash. So they have more, there's a little bit more flex there, okay? And with Elder and Human Services, we're not planning on carrying those overhead charges in our fee structure.
I think
So
you're prohibited by the current policy.
you're prohibited from making a profit.
Right.
We're prohibited making, we still have staff costs. We're not building staff costs. Yeah, but they're built into the recreation funds to some degree, but they won't be built into Elder and Human Services funds.
I got lost in all that.
I beg your pardon.
Which is fine. It's a big thing. I'm hearing all about rec and I understand about rec, but I also think what I've heard in other meetings on rec is all that wonderful money isn't available to elder services, that we have our own revenue streams.
You have so Elder and Human Services
And
has
I'm
their
just
own.
asking, I'm being very selfish. I'm only
You're
asking
not.
about elder services.
That's okay. We're here to answer everybody's questions and
Yeah.
everybody has different interests.
Yeah.
So we will have we have the Elder and Human Services revolving fund that exists right now. Recreation can provide, as they already do, programming to the 60+ community, but it'll now be in Recal, and that can be at nighttime, and some of those fees can offset.
So if line dancing was considered a rec program instead of an elder services program, it would go into the model for all the rec programming?
It would go into the model for the recreation side, and that might be like the nighttime line dancing
Or even
program.
daytime line dancing.
It could
Line
be,
dancing's line
we
dancing.
can all work together. So, yeah, and it might be, dependent on, and we can work that pricing out as well.
Okay, I won't pretend to begin to understand, it's very complicated, I won't pretend to fully understand it. I haven't yet heard something that makes me see how double participation will be covered, but it doesn't mean it isn't, it just means I didn't get it yet, so if we could talk more later, maybe.
Happy to.
That
Yeah,
would be
happy
really
to.
helpful. And also the 15,000 from the trusts. I need to understand what your thinking is on that. Some of that would be from Schroeder, which is yours anyway. You don't need our permission. It's Schroeder belongs to you or to Jenna and Carrie. And that's a healthy fund. Right now, I went back and looked at 2019. I'm trying to remember, how did things work before ARPA? And most of the roughly 17 to 21,000 we get each year in interest across all the funds, including, I think, Schroeder, was being spent on special things like holiday parties, catered meals for those parties. I saw a big lump coming out of patrons that had to do with transportation, and I'm clueless as to what that was, but I can share the reports and maybe you can help me understand. But that is a fair chunk of change that was going in there. But I'm assuming all those expenses will still continue, and they're not your core all-day programming. They're add-ons. They're just special.
That's right.
So I just need to understand the 15K. I'm not sure there's 15K left after you buy those things. So we just need to understand. That's all.
Okay, so that's a great area we can dig into.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was mentioned, and I think I understood correctly, that the senior population is going to be charged a membership fee for the fitness.
For the fitness room only,
Is that during the day? Is it a continuously?
whenever you want.
So if we had members that come in on a daily basis, they need to have a membership?
That I think we presented previously. Yeah, that was previously presented in our policies. I think we presented that in October. Yep, in October. So the fitness room, the fitness equipment room, that's not any classes, it's not group exercise, it's just the fitness equipment room. And there's a couple of reasons. Residents have a lower fee than non-residents. Part of that is because the maintenance of the equipment, part of it is an economic answer so that we don't have everybody jumping out of Planet Fitness and coming over here. This is really kind of focused. I think for the daytime, it'll be mostly our elder that are using the fitness equipment room. And then we also have certain sign-offs that are expected. There'll be trainings, so you know how to use the equipment safely, things like that.
Now, residents and the senior age brackets pay one fee, and if non-residents want to use it, is that going to be an additional fee?
Yes, that's right. No, the benefit is to the residents, 100%.
Okay. I'm just, thank you, first of all. And unfortunately, I don't have this spreadsheet in front of me, so I probably could get this answer if I had it.
Okay.
But I just want to get a better understanding of what the operating expenses are projected to be. That's not that 471,000 number. Those are the increase in cost, but those are all. Do you have an idea of what the FY28 operating expenses?
The Elder and Human Services operating
Or
expenses?
retail?
It's 1.3 million. Well, do you just want the operational, not the salaries?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like, what is it gonna cost to keep it open?
So, well, we're projecting the facilities increases, as you can see, 358,000, you take 280 out of that for salaries. We have $15,000 increase for expenses in Elder and Human Services, and then nominal increases for veterans. Salaries is fully supported by recreation, so we don't cover any expenses for recreation at all. So,
300,000.
yeah, if you take out the facilities, it's really pretty minimal increase. When we brought this forward to the community, not talking about the facility side, but talking about the rest of it, it was really, we're going to move this program over here. We knew that paid programming would be coming back for Elder and Human Services, and that we would be able to offer more programming in the space and see what works and what doesn't. Part of the advantage that using ARPA funds for our programming and for all the other uses over the past few years is to give us a sense of what's appealing and the ability for staff to try new things and take some risks, because it wasn't coming out of, a council on aging trust fund or something like that. And so some of those decisions help inform what will go in the future.
Also have the question on the additional staffing required. There was one additional maintenance, 2 full-time custodians. That's 3 FTEs plus extended services for the cleaning crew at night. That's a pretty sizable increase. I'm just curious what the current size of the maintenance and custodian staff is.
Ron, it's like you're speaking my language. You're asking the right questions. So that's a great question. And if there's nothing else other than that first slide that you take away from this, I want you to take this nugget away from this. Your Reading town government works very hard to provide a lean government to our best and still provide the level of services that our residents expect. So right now, and Joe, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, we have 1 custodian during the day that supports 4 buildings. 2, I beg your pardon.
So I just want to mention also that what you're looking at for facilities comes out of the facilities budget, not the senior center, okay? That's the core facilities budget, and the cost is split into 2 separate areas. One of them is core facilities and one of them is town facilities, and that's where the custodians, quote unquote, live and where the cleaning service lives. The rest, the utilities comes out of the core. So right now, and what Jane was saying, running lean, is we have a full-time custodian stationed at the Reading Public Library during the day. And we have one full-time custodian that's stationed at the town hall. The town hall custodian floats to other buildings during the day, doing setups for this building, going over to the police station, doing cleaning, the fire station. So really is out there, you know, moving around just to keep the numbers of FTEs down. This building, adding this building, we're already very cuspy, I'll call it, as far as our staffing goes. And what we heard early on was that this building was gonna be high use a lot. So we're gonna use the same model we use at the Reading Public Library, which is a full-time day person. And then it's someone that comes in maybe mid-shift or 2 or 3 in the afternoon and works till closing. While this, because there's gonna be programs going on there at night. And we want one of our staff to be the one that's gonna lock the building down, okay? And then an outside cleaning service come in to do, like Jane was saying, the common areas, the gymnasium, nothing behind closed doors where there's sensitive information. The reason you're seeing an add to a maintenance technician is the same thing. We have 4 guys out there in the shop right now handling just over 1 million square feet of space. And it's problematic, you know, to try to get it done. We do the general repairs on a day-to-day basis with an electrician, a plumber, and 2 carpenters. And we contract the rest of it out because we could, our staff would be like 20 people and it would be a huge expense to the town. But we need that extra person to handle the added square footage from this property right here. So we're adding footprint, if you will.
How many buildings do you have, Joe?
So we have 8 school buildings and 9 municipal buildings that we take care of for you folks.
All right, I appreciate that answer. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Hi, Kate.
So I think I saw you have a figure in your projected revenue through the fitness room membership, which is an entirely new thing. You, I would think, have no historical data to draw from at which to drive that figure. So what are the numbers driving the figure that you had for that projected revenue?
Jenna, can you walk through that assumption?
Sure. So the fitness room, we actually did have some data from other towns. One of them specifically was Needham. They have a membership as well. I think there's actually a monthly membership. So we took some of their data from what they've been doing for their fitness room. And then also we worked with Ballard and King, which is our operational consultant, who came up with a lot of the preliminary numbers based on other people that they've worked with. They're the experts in the field, referred to by BH+A, our architect. So this was a collective thing that we came up with, and we all worked together as a team to predict how many memberships we would sell that would be resident, how many that would be non-resident, and that's what we based it on. So we have a rough right here. So let's see, we have the 100 seniors paying $10 a month, $25 per month for non-residents. And that's based on 25 people and $10 per month for 150 non-seniors, which is the population of 12 to 64.
So we used our consultant to help us come to that number. So it's a great question. And again, these are projections, so we'll see how they turn out. No question.
Oh, thank you. So Jane, I was gonna piggyback on that question on if you guys can talk a little more about assumptions made on your recal rentals and the gym membership. Just a quick question on the gym membership. Jenny, you said it's monthly, so snowbirds can go dormant on their membership? But yeah, the assumptions on rentals, like did you assume whatever, 100% usage or however that was?
Yeah, so for the rentals, we have gym rentals, we have the multi-purpose room, we have the small meeting room. So a lot of these were based on the rates that we presented from the rental room packet. So obviously there's different tiered rates, so we just kind of picked what we thought would be the most popular rate and went based off of that, and it is the lower range that we did as well for the rentals, to be extra conservative. So we based the gym rentals at $75 per hour for only 5 hours per week for 50 weeks. 75 per rental for the multi-purpose room, 2 rentals per week for 50 weeks, and 25 for a small meeting room, 2 rentals per week for 50 weeks. So pretty conservative estimates.
So we think that that's pretty achievable in year one. And so that's, we're basing our numbers there. It'll probably be higher, potentially much higher.
Fitness room.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a limited number of participants in the room?
Yeah, well, fire code limits how many people can have in
And
the
how
room.
many are anticipated? Because I know at one time when this all first started,
Mhm.
it was only going to be 3 pieces of equipment in that room. So what is the goal going forward for this room?
Well, there was a projected amount of fitness pieces on the fitness room equipment packet. Again, that was in the draft format. I don't know how many total pieces of equipment offhand were in there. I could pull it up in the background and look. And I think the reason why we're doing the fitness room memberships is just kind of how Jane pointed out. We don't want the whole community coming in at once, and we want to regulate it. So there probably will be a max depending on how many people sign up for the membership. And because, you know, if a 15-year-old signs up for a membership, they're predominantly probably gonna come at night. After school or something like that, and the 60+ population will most likely come during the day. And if you're working 60+, you might go to the fitness room at night, of course, or early in the morning before work. But yeah, we'll regulate it and come up with.
Okay.
We're not looking for it to
So
crowd
will it-
people out.
So will it be a pre-registration, reserve my spot type of thing?
No,
Well, then you could have 50 people, 25 people show up and you only have 10 pieces of equipment. Then what?
yeah, I mean, Sandwich also has the same exact fitness room as we do, and they're not experiencing that problem.
Well,
So
Gene, I think it's a
Other-
great problem to have. If that is the problem we have ways to solve that problem, for sure. Yeah.
I think it would be a good problem to have, but I'm just saying you don't want to have people upset. I have a membership.
I can't even get in to use the equipment. 100%, 100%.
and we can have, we'll have policies just like we have on the tennis courts, you know, you can only be on a piece of equipment for X amount of time.
Right.
And.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
that to regulate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
By small meeting room, I'm not sure what room we're talking about. Is that the conference room within the rec department area, or are you changing the makerspace into a small meeting room?
No, it would be the flex room would be what we were referring to, or splitting the multi-purpose room into 2.
The flex
Be
room has
another
like
small
those,
meeting room.
So not so small,
Tables.
these are 1,000 square foot plus spaces for sure.
Well, compared to the entire multi-purpose room, it's considered small.
Okay, I just didn't know if you're thinking of the maker spaces that.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay, and the other thing. I
Yeah, the
think
makerspace could also be utilized for a meeting
Yeah,
space
I
too.
think I was also, I'm sure I was doing wishful thinking. I thought I heard you say that the fee income, I know you want to keep it low, and I thought I heard you say, and I did the math and I said, it just can't be. $1,000 a year is all you were expecting? That can't be what you said.
to turn back.
Pardon me?
$1,000 to turn back to the town.
So you're saying
Whereas-
you can change the policy and you're going to have extra money, it'll be 1,000 to turn back.
Correct. So the fees will support the programs, they'll revolve, but at the end, we will only have a minimum amount that would turn back, whereas recreation typically turns back about 100,000.
So I still have the question, and maybe you don't have the answer yet. What are the fees expected to be? Just so we know what the revenue is expected to be to support teachers for the core elder services program. Do we have any idea on that?
Well, we just started doing payments for our fitness classes.
Right.
And then prior to FY 28, we'll have a more comprehensive budget of what we'll be charging and things like that.
Okay, so your goal is to change the policy and have $1,000, you can give or take, that you could turn back? Yeah, okay. All right, so I did understand
yeah, you
1,000.
did.
Just didn't understand what it was.
Right,
Okay.
you know, so the class prices for Elder and Human Services is a little beyond the scope of the conversation for
That's
today.
fine.
Just like we're not going into what the recreation program individually costs, but
Totally
they'll be
fine.
affordable.
Totally fine.
Yeah, okay. Chair.
Regarding the VQL budget, the fees. And, well, activities are gonna be paid out of the VQL budget. Could you expand on that? Do we have money to spend for the activities? Will that go to us coming in?
Well, do you mean like the regular programming, the paid programming? Because we also have lots of free.
Made was activities will be paid through the VQL budget. What does that mean? What activities? Activities that everybody attends here during the week?
So we have the Elder and Human Services revolving fund and the Recreation revolving fund that will support some related expenses to the facility. We have
What teachers or lower the cost of people who want
the paid programming will cover the cost of teachers for certain programs that will be charged fees for. We have other programs that are free to everybody to participate in. So those will either be supported because they're volunteers that are giving those classes, or they are supported by the expense budget, from the general fund.
the monies that people like myself who come here almost every day, we're gonna have to pay a fee. Will that go into the VCAL budget? Or will that be here?
Nope,
separate?
nope. If you're an Elder and Human Services participant and you're paying a fee for an Elder and Human Services program, that stays with Elder and Human Services revolving fund.
But what actually is going into, coming out of the VCAL budget for us, for me, somebody who attends every day?
Well, which part of the recal budget? are you
I don't
talking
know,
about?
you said activities will be paid on the
Do you know
VCAL.
what we're getting at?
So are you referring to the actual operating budget on the?
I'm referring to whatever's gonna affect me and everybody else who comes here every day. Well, might have a membership, will the membership be lowered, will the fees be lowered?
So when you come to the recal every day, you can come in and play mahjong, play bingo. You can go to the lounges, you can hang out with your friends, you can attend, lots of different programs. You will pay certain subsidized costs for meals. And you'll pay, if you're taking any programs that are charged a fee, you'll sign up in advance. And like those particular recurring classes or whatever it is, and you'll pay a fee for those. And those fees will be collected into the Elder and Human Services revolving account to pay those facilitators. Or for those meals.
But Jane, a senior could go to the center theoretically and not pay anything.
Correct. Yep, it's meant to be an open third free space. A third space is a concept we talk about in public world. That is a free space where people can go. You don't have to pay to be there, and we will have lots of that at
That's an
Recount.
interesting statement too, so people can come in and what, sit in the lounge for free?
Yep, you can play cards, play bingo, talk to your
Without
friends.
paying anything to support the building and the
Correct.
services,
That's right. That's coming from tax dollars.
tax dollars.
That's right, from the general fund.
John, you
Since there are so many municipal parking lots in this town that are not ADA compliant, can we be assured that this one is going to be ADA compliant as far as parking goes?
Yes. 100%.
I sure hope so.
I beg your pardon?
I sure hope so.
No, it's designed to be ADA compliant. Yes, 100%. It has to be. It's a
That
brand new building. It has to follow.
that'd be a
ADA.
pleasant change.
And Jane,
Yes, sir.
just did the ADA peer review as well.
Yep. We did the ADA, she was just saying we did the ADA peer review. So when it's new, it has to follow the current code. And so this building is designed to follow the current code.
Back to the flex room, was mentioned that could be rented and taken revenue. I know it was brought up once before, we had a previous meeting about a possible divider to be put into that room. So then you would have basically an additional room for rental. So that is something I'm hoping that in the future is considered. And now my other thought is at one time, it was thought about looking into possible transportation.
Mhm.
Is that something that has been considered in this budget going forward?
Transportation as we fund it now, so we have capital, we have recreation vans on our capital plan. Right now, I think they're actually fairly new. They're not that old. So we will probably ask for an earmark or something to replace them at the state level.
Thank you.
But yep, we are, and we'll do a transportation presentation, I think in July with more information.
And the other thing is, as far as the fitness room, 60+ paying a membership fee.
Mhm.
Does that dollar amount go back into the senior portion of a budget, or does it go to the rec budget?
Which
Have we
revolving-
decided that yet?
I think it would go under one,
One or the other, yeah.
yeah,
In general, just
to support the offsets.
We'll go back to support the offsets. So probably like that.
Or just
Fair. No, these are great questions. Other questions from the committees?
Tom?
Yeah, I have a question. In your presentation, you mentioned the new building's gonna be an electric building.
Yes.
Is that qualified, is there any reimbursement, program where it is gonna,
Like incentives for,
yeah, is there any programs out there, I guess, where you're falling under?
I think the building's gonna be, I'm not sure if it's lead silver. RMLDs, we think that the RMLD is going to be part of the solution there. It'd also be a solar roof. There'll be solar panels on the roof to help offset the net metering costs of electricity. Okay. But you know, as you all live in RMLD territory, we pay really good. People are super jealous, especially with electricity rates skyrocketing everywhere. So it makes it a little bit longer for the payoff value on the solar to make sense, but there will be solar roof because we have such a low rate. It's a hedge because we don't know that we'll always have really low energy rates, so.
Questions from the rec before we open up to the public?
Rosemary has a question.
Regarding people being able to just come in and use the facility sitting around, are they gonna have key tags to come and go?
Yes, we want, for building security, it's important that everybody in and out of that building checks in. So we know who's in the building.
They'll have access to coffees and things, but still not paying anything to support the building?
Coffee is an interesting conversation. We're not a coffee shop. So I'm not sure how we're gonna handle coffee, but we've been warned about coffee. We've been,
We have 2 new vendors in town, so that's a good thing.
right, bring your coffee.
Nowhere near.
Well,
That's true, that's true. So we'll, yeah, coffee's important, but yeah, they can come.
Yeah, the revolving fund is a new concept for those of us that haven't been involved with rec. So when $1,000 goes into the revolving fund, what happens to go, my understanding, and it could be totally wrong, is when something goes in there, it's kind of like a holding pattern, so it could be used the next fiscal year. Is that what the revolving?
You have to
Okay.
cash
What
out
does it
your
mean?
revolving fund at the end of the year and it gives money back to the general fund. There are a couple of different kinds of revolving funds. We set this one up in a particular way. And Jenna, do you remember?
Yeah, so.
Because we did that a year ago. We set up that revolving
Yeah,
fund.
so with the EHS revolving fund, if there is funds remaining at the end of the year, my understanding is that it could turn over into.
This
the
is one of the ones we can turn over.
Yeah, but Jim's.
But recreation can't. Recreation has to cash out to the free cash. But
So we turn it over to. Where's it? To the general fund?
Yep.
So
So
it
it's-
could go for anything in the town? Is that?
it goes over, it gets counted in our free cash and it belongs to free cash. And so I think we have $17 million in free cash right now. Can't
So it
remember.
doesn't stay with elders or LPHS.
No, it
That's too
goes,
bad, 'cause it sounded like
No,
a coffee
with-
fund to me.
right, no, well, no, that with recreation, it goes to the general fund, now to free cash. With Elder and Human Services, to your point, it can rotate. You have to have this kind of fund. You have to have this kind of fund, Mass General Law, chapter, section, such a, and there's a different ones. And so Jenna chose the one that would be able to roll over.
Excellent.
So if you had a really great year and you had extra funds there, but what we were projecting is that at the end of the year,
Right.
there would only be that $1,000. We're just keeping that number really low.
Right.
We're
That's
not trying.
Lots of coffee. Or whatever.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. I like problem solving, Marilyn. I love it.
We try.
Adding to what John is saying, that talking about being handicapped,
Yes, ma'am.
someone who's handicapped be able to drive up to the door, hopefully it's a covered area, and drop off people who are handicapped.
Yeah, the entryway for Recal comes out. There's a covered canopy that comes out, not all the way to the sidewalk, but it comes way out from the front of the building. And so people can pull up, there's a drop-off area and go inside.
How many handicap spots are you going to have?
I don't have that number, but I can get it for you.
I hope it's more than two.
It's more than two. It's code compliant.
It has to be.
Yeah, it's code compliant.
If it's gonna follow state code, it's gonna be way more than two.
Yeah. It'll be better than it is now. For sure.
That's good.
Yes, ma'am. We agree.
Is anybody online have any questions?
Did you want to open it to public comment, chairs?
Yes, I think we're all set, yes.
Okay.
Karen Harris. I think she's gone. Oh, no, she's in.
Here, she's here.
Hey, Chris is here, he knows.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was here. I just thanks Jane for sharing that. The Recal Center, the permanent building committee did vote to put solar panels on it, so I didn't know whether those energy costs yet reflect, the net metering and the benefit we'll get of that. And also somebody had a question about contributions by RMLD, and I believe the figure was a rebate of about $60,000. You guys can correct me on that. It was definitely under 100,000.
I think, yeah, Joe's nodding. Karen, I think that number is right on. And no, the numbers for utilities, I don't believe reflect net metering. We haven't reflected the benefit there. Just for the folks in the room, you can see the covered canopy, Rosemary, right there. It's supported on one side, and that's where the drop-off area will be. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Karen, Jane, Rich. So in the budget section, unless my math is on, every single number is incorrect. Or my recent chart.
That'd be, how incorrect do you think it is?
All
Is it
253 and 51 doesn't equal 288. So where is that number from? And that goes for everything other than the city.
We'll have to check the math.
Oh, yeah.
Good catch, Chris.
Oh, it pulled off on the back sheet from the assumptions? Oh, okay. So we'll have to revise this before we issue it tomorrow. All right, well, thank you. It pulled off addiction. So this is a picture of the spreadsheet and it pulled off some of the other stuff on the spreadsheet. So obviously we have to revise these numbers. We apologize.
To have the whole picture, but does add up with the missing items. It should be known what the other items are, because salary and
Right.
expenses seems like everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Then the other thing, I don't think the permanent building committee approved the solar. Did that not get bumped? That's the only one they didn't vote on?
Yes, it was approved. It was an ad alternate on the contract and it was approved by, there's a second ad alternate. The first ad alternate was the road, expanding Range Road and finishing the road. And then the second ad alternate was the solar. And there was a robust conversation about what was the payoff period and what length of time? And we talked about, it was a really low payoff, but let's be clear that we may have a higher. So we calculated it both ways. We had a consultant. So the board did approve it. I think unanimously or
No.
by one or two?
6-1.
6-1, yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for pointing out our mistake. We will fix that for everybody for tomorrow.
Question, I can't read the name of
Nancy's in line.
Okay, Nancy.
Hi, I just have a quick question. Very good presentation. Thank you very much. About the $15,000 dollars that might be coming from the Council on Aging Trust Fund. Is that are you expecting that as a one-time payment? Or are you expecting that to be an annual contribution from the Council on Aging to this new building?
That's a great question.
Correct, the second.
We're anticipating that would be a recurring contribution. Again,
Thank you.
at the Council on Aging's approval for discussion, but yeah, great question, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
I'd be happy to sit and show you, having been here in this forever and secretary for 7 years, I have all kinds of old documents, including all the munis reports that show exactly what the expenditures were under each of these funds, because I was curious, what were we buying? And it's not core programming, it's special events. And we only have between 15 and 20,000 on average in interest, which is all we can spend if we're gonna maintain the principal right now. So I think we need to look together at these numbers because those special events are really important. It's the St. Patrick's party, the Christmas party, the catering for special things where the food's really good. And I also don't know that we've charged for those, or if we have, it's been very little because it was funded out of trust funds that were meant to pay for elderly people to have these special events. So we need to look at that assumption and where you're imagining the 15,000 would go and where I've seen it go in the past, because I think we may not be totally connecting yet.
I think we could be consistent on that. I think we still have those expenses. I think we can make it so that contribution goes to that particular offset for sure. And we're going to have a lot more space than we have here. So we'll have more participants.
Well, I think it's worth a conversation to look at,
100%.
just to clear it up, so neither of us is expecting something other than what's financially possible.
Great suggestion.
Tony's online.
Tony DeRosa.
Oh, hey, Tony.
Hello. This one's more for Joe. You talked about adding a maintenance person because of the increase in square footage. I assume this maintenance person will cover the increase in square footage for the new Killam building as well. Or are we looking at an additional maintenance for that in addition?
That's correct. We're gonna be looking for another one when Killam comes online. So there'll be 2 additional maintenance people.
Okay, thank you.
Easy questions.
Other questions?
Hey, Jane. Just,
John, yeah.
clarify, so, can I just make a?
Yes.
Sorry.
Just want to respond to Chris. So Chris, just on that spreadsheet, all of those totals up until the 776 are individual line items. They're not totals. They're not summing, like the 288 is not summing 253 and 51. Those are separate line items. So the total of 253, 51, 288, 75, 2300, 105 is the 776. That's the only total on that side of the sheet. Okay, so those are all individual line items. Sorry, when you asked the question, I just wanted to make sure I answered it correctly there. So the same thing on the other side, 262, 66, 321, 78, 8,000, 105, 48, that's the 889. Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, so our not wasn't total. Yeah. But you scared me there, so I appreciate the checking of the math, Melissa.
Fixed before it goes online, because the confusing part is it says
Total.
salary total.
Yeah.
And then it's full, well, it looks full, but it's current.
No,
Just so it's not confusing to when.
this is why these sessions are so important and helpful, because you know, clarity of information giving is important. So we appreciate that. Yeah, we'll fix that. 100%. Carlo.
Stand up. Calabachi. So on the first couple of slides, you know, it's this building currently operating, and we have the new building.
Mhm.
And they get the extra staff, utilities, square footage alone. So what, did you give me apples to apples as far as hours open for this building and that building?
We did. I did that analysis. Do you have that email I sent you? Give us a minute because I did do that analysis.
It's exact.
No, it's not an apple. I did analysis of how many hours are programmable here and how many hours are programmable at Recal. And it's significant increase.
Right, I'm just worried in the beginning.
Mhm.
Well, all this gets flushed out.
Yeah.
I'll use Virginia's Cafe as an example. A lot of us, a few of us were there Saturday, you know, line was literally out the door until the afternoon. Families, friends, excitement, new place, exciting. And that will wean over time, right, as all new openings do. So with the building, it's gonna be a learning curve, it's gonna be a lot of
Absolutely.
things people want, but I just wanna make sure that we're comparing for costs and expenses and even revenue, the hours that we're operating here to the hours we're operating there, because you can always do it by the hour, right, and by the square footage. So was, you know, retailers, they decide on sales per square foot,
Mhm.
right, for a retail store.
Mhm.
Restaurants, it's how many times you turn the table and so
Mhm.
on and so forth.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping we're
Different
comparing
metrics.
square footage per square foot, expenses and revenue. And custodians to, Joe, overtime, how much overtime is it for custodians? So I'm sure there's overtime.
The overtime, generally speaking, is for emergency services. And coverage, if there's additional coverage for events that are going on. But generally speaking, it's like snow removal. That's where most of the overtime is generated. Or if it's an opening of, or a closing of like the Reading Public Library on the weekend, because they're open extended hours during certain times of the year, so.
So no, we did not do an expenses or salaries based on square foot of the two buildings, but that's an analysis we can do.
So 2 additional custodians, they're gonna be dedicated to that building or they'll service other town buildings?
Dedicated to that, the new building,
Open to midship to the.
correct, and then an overnight cleaning for the other areas of the building we talked about.
The amount of hours that the center is open, those 2 custodians will cover all those hours?
The 2
7 days a
custodians-
week?
The two custodians will cover, we have to kind of iron this out. It's 5 days a week for the 2 Reading custodians, right? And then it's a 6-day-a-week service for the outside vendor. Because we're anticipating at least 6 days a week of service in the new facility, right? Because it'll be open on weekends.
Right.
But it's gonna be kind of a, you know, like you said, it's like a learning curve. We're gonna have to, it'll ebb and flow until we get into that sweet spot where we know exactly what the staffing, my staffing levels are gonna look like. What works best for the center.
No, I'm just concerned. Again, just a concern going down the road operationally, that we're biting off more than we can chew, maybe. Depending on the program that's wanted.
Mhm.
You know, wants and needs are 2 different things. They want it, do they need it? Is there enough people, like, I know you played around a lot with ARPA and Jenna and staff did a good job probably trying different things. So many people signed up. And just, you know, I don't wanna bring the override up, but as we know, next year or 2, we're gonna have some kind of operational override. And this is gonna be part, not contribute to it, because it's already been voted on. But it's another concern, at least in the select board. Going forward, I know it's gonna take several months, maybe half a year to figure out, but what if the demand is really, really high? Then
So-
what?
So on the weekends, the weekend programming mostly run by recreation. And so if we need recreation currently right now, paid custodial staff, is that correct?
Not 40,000.
Yeah, and that 40,000 that we pay to the school department, we're already paying for a weekend and weekday custodial staff. So that will now come to pay weekend custodial support for Recal. So it's sort of already built in, but you're right. If there's if there's a ton of interest and we have lots and lots of programs going on, we'll have to manage that. Okay. Jenny?
I do have a question. You just mentioned, I thought I understood correctly. The weekends would be like for more activity. Did I hear that correctly?
Like they would be operated through the recreation revolving fund. So they
Okay.
renting the gym to pickleball or, basketball or programs or whatever you want to do.
The available space, not saying that the 60% will be in a weekend as well. too.
Okay,
So it's
that's
finding
what I'm-
opportunities to rent when there's open space. The ideal situation is to have a Sunday, nobody's in there. If we can get 4 rental people in there, with 1 custodian, 1 program supervisor, we're bringing in all those funds from those 4 different rentals, and that's where we're gonna start to be able to build up a nice steady.
Little nest egg going
Yeah,
forward.
and when we're booking rooms and we said the flex rooms and things like that, like if someone's coming to us looking to rent a room, I'm not gonna kick out a program that's in there. It's based on availability.
Okay, but the 60+ programming is being considered for Saturdays.
100%.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This has been really informative. Thank you so much for this presentation. And I agree with Melissa. It would be, before you release it, just
We'll
explaining.
clarify.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think that's a great point. We will do that, make that easier to read. Okay. So that might take a little bit longer to get the slides up tomorrow, but we will put them up tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thank you for your questions. I can be reached at jwellman@readingma.gov. If you want to send me an email. I'm the person you should send that email to. And I'll probably read it pretty quickly afterward. You sent me an email, I haven't read it yet. So I'm behind on email for today, but generally I read them all by the end of the day. I appreciate you guys all coming out tonight and giving us your time. You do a lot and you give a lot to the town, and it's appreciated by staff and by the participants in these programs. So thank you. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, it's ready.
I second.
Yeah, the second is Karen Knapp, Ron Powell. Okay, Gaia, Jean,
Yes.
Carolyn. Karen, yes. John.
I'm not gonna support
You're not gonna support it, okay.
Second. All in favor?
Nice. You gotta do roll call.
No, I have.
Bob?
Bob?
Yes.
Yes. Rich, yes. Job, everyone. You guys gonna adjourn? Any first?
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Carlo, roll call, Turner.
Is this for an adjournment? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yep.
Karen Skillis.
Yeah.
Melissa Murphy.
Yes.
Tyler Byers. Yes. Chris Hagan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
I like it.
Well, I'll send you like the
Yes.